Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. I once again have a repeat guest, and she is someone whose books I have really come to enjoy in the past 1 year. And I'm really excited to talk to her about the second book of hers that I have read. Hello, Supriya. We have our guest with us already. Let me invite her without further ado and begin today's episode. Seconds to stay connected. Hello, Supriya. Welcome back.
So nice.
Yeah, it's so nice to talk to you again. I was just telling the audience that you are somebody whose books I have recently come across and started enjoying so much in the past 1 year.
Thank
And this was my second book of yours that I have read, and I love how you uh, combine multiple genres in your writing. So that's something I really admire. The previous one that I had read, it was romantic thriller. This was an out and out suspense thriller. And again, I was on the edge of my seat, anticipating what is going to happen again. So before we talk about the book, I am just going to show the audience the book and read out a few pages.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you so much.
So, Supriya's book that I have read, it is titled Into the Woods, and this is the cover. Just look at it, so beautiful, so compelling. You know, cover देख के ही पता चल जाता है. It is going to be something which is very thrilling because we have this girl. She's walking into the woods, and uh, she's kind of the anti-hero. Somebody who can't you are like you are also fearful of, and you also come to admire. बाप रे, क्या है ये लड़की? I'm going to pick the first few pages only
Okay,
so that we also create kind of a suspense in the mind of the audience.
great.
Okay, I'm going to read out from the prologue. It goes: The church of Saint Caterina stood magnificent against the grey, cloudy skies of a July evening. Over the years, the color on the church walls had faded. The walls wore a dreary look, chipped at the corners, and lightning streaks running down the bell tower wall. Today, the church was a magnificent silhouette against the grey, cloudy skies. It always rained in Barrow with thunder and lightning. The village wore a gloomy look all round the year. The deep woods covered in mist added despondency. The church stood tall and survived on the donations from wealthy people who were in trouble and believed in donating money for its upkeep. Today it carried uncertainty, an unknown restlessness and dread. Bella's hands twisted the cycle handles. She glanced at herself in the mirror. The web of scars covered one side of her otherwise beautiful face. She pulled the hoodie closer. Memories from the accident made her shudder. A sob escaped her lips. A slow rumble began in the clouds. And in fact, this is one of the first questions that I have for you. The setting. I was reading out the prologue, and in the first few lines itself, we have created a setting. We know what we are getting into. We want to know what this place is. We want to know how Bella is connected to this particular setting and the city of Barrow. So, my first question to you is: how important is it for you as an author yourself to create a setting in a thriller book? And what would be your advice to writers of thriller in creating a setting like this?
Okay. First thing is setting always depends on the mood of the story.
Hmm.
So this story is dark and it's a psychological thriller. So what's in the mind is what we see is the theme
Hmm.
of this book, basically the story. So Bella, there are a lot of things going on in her mind. Her the conflict and the emotions and the darkness that is within her. I want to place her in surroundings where it would it would highlight the darkness inside her. So can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So that's how I created Barrow, because I just wanted to create that intrigue the suspense, and I wanted Bela's mood to match with the outside world. So I feel that it complements Bela and Baro. They complement each other.
Yeah.
The rains and the darkness and the woods and everything has like come together to create a sense of fear, foreboding, and what is going to happen now? What next? So I feel a setting is very important to a crime thriller. When you write a crime thriller, you need to first understand what your characters are, where they are going, what the plot is, and according to it, you understand the setting and you write the setting for your book.
Okay. And what is that one particular, like, ये तो होना ही चाहिए, setting कर रहे हैं तो. Is there any particular thing that you want to tell us and you also yourself put in your stories?
I feel for me, rains and darkness is very important to bring out a perfect thriller.
Okay, yeah. Rain and darkness. Yes, that's an interesting way. Now that you say it, I realize that every thriller and every crime thriller that I have read and watched does have rain or darkness in it. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to keep that in mind. Which brings me to my second question for you. So tell us about how especially with this book, going to focus on this book. Previous one was something that, it had a proper closure. With this one, you have left us with a cliffhanger. We are like, the conclusion is coming. There's a build up, and then by the time we reach the end of the story, we are like, some questions remained unresolved. Like some conflicts are not yet, they have not come to a closure yet. So, how did you go about creating such a cliffhanger ending? And what's your checklist, if you have any, for writing such an ending?
I don't have a checklist or anything. The story just kept happening, and basically, it was Bella's character who took the story forward. So I didn't really think that it would end at this juncture, but I just didn't want to extend it more because I thought that everything is falling into place right now, and I thought that I should just end it at this point and then maybe work on the sequel, So I'm planning to write a sequel, and there are unanswered. I know there are some links which are missing also in the end, but I'm going to write it in the second part.
Yes. Okay. So I for one am waiting for it. In fact, I remember when I finished the book, I also immediately pinged you saying, "What is this?"
As if some were missing, was it?
Sorry.
As if some pages were missing from the book.
No. I made sure that this is the end of the book. Or did I download the wrong version or anything?
No, I'm working on it. Let's see. Yeah.
I have one more question for you. It's not related. Of course, it's related to the book, but I didn't have it in mind. But since we are talking about it, it's just popping to my head now. We have Bella, who is like, the anti-heroine. And then we have Ananya, who is like the complete opposite. She's like the nemesis of Bella. So tell us about how you created such opposing characters. And for the first time, I was rooting for the anti-heroine instead of rooting for the cop, the female cop.
Okay, so I feel that if we create heroines, if we create a protagonist who is a positive character, then we should have an equal negative character in front of her. But here I did it in a reverse way. I created an antagonist first, and then I wanted an equally strong protagonist, also a positive female character uh, for the story to take it ahead, and that's how came into being. The character, the cop's character came into being, and she is someone who's balanced and who is logical and calm, and she handles things in a different way. And while Bella is always strung and tensed and going towards negative direction. So I think they complement each other in their differences itself.
But I'm sorry, we are going off a little off topic and unscripted. But what I actually, another thing that I found interesting and which was similar between the two heroines was that they had very, what can I say? They had a disturbing childhood, we can say, and a problematic mother figure. Uh, and yet the two of them turned out to be so different, which was that intentional?
Yes, it was intentional. It
Because
was.
we also have Ahana's mother, who is also a little imbalanced, and then we have Bella's mother, who is like who plays such an important role in shaping her negative side. So that was really interesting, and I don't know if it came out evidently. For me, it did, but that was one of the things that leads to the character development in the two females, like two opposing characters, one positive, one negative. They have mothers who are problematic, and then how it shapes their personality.
Yes, yes. That's the intention of it, because that's how Bella grew up and that's how Ahana grew up.
Yeah.
But each of them had their own share of difficulties and problems as growing up. But then how they overcame it and how and
Yeah, that's what's important, right? uh, we are showing कि हर चीज का पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव हो सकता है अपब्रिंगिंग पे सो या दैट कम्स आउट रियली वेल
there were challenges for both of them, and
या
that's how they turned out to be.
okay I'm done with my barrage of questions for you. I leave the floor open to you. You have also read my book.
Yes.
Would you like to read out and ask me questions now?
Oh my God. Manali, I've read your previous, I read only your poems, okay? And now Love and Meltdown was a pleasant surprise for me. It was, it was a romantic ride where I was going on and reading and reading and didn't want to stop. And I story to end. I'm coming to the end. I'm coming to the end. Okay. Uh, so I'll quickly read one small paragraph about it, and then we will go into. I will talk about the characters, and we'll talk about the story graph, and I will talk about the ending that I did not expect.
In the cover, yeah, love and melodrama. This is the book of mine that Supriya is talking about.
Paragraph of it. Okay. So this is my favorite part. I won't read the entire thing, but a part of it. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. Coming. Nalini waved her hand towards someone and sneaked out, whispering a quick "all the best" to Gayatri. Oh, hi, Varun. I was just getting popcorn. Gayatri heard Nalini say. This was her cue, and she quickly ran to her designated spot. Varun's response was muffled, and she didn't even register it, what with the butterflies playing havoc in her stomach as she looked around one more time to ensure everything was in place. Not now, she commanded, getting her jitters in control, and took a deep breath as the approaching footsteps inched closer. The door opened, and the first thing she registered was his tall frame in jeans and shirt. The dim lights didn't allow her to catch the color of his clothes, but she didn't miss the look of incredulousness crossing his face as he looked around the hall. Okay, so there are a lot of things happening in your book. The characters, Gayatri, then Varun, handsome. I mean, I could easily conjure up the image in my mind that this is Varun and this is Gayatri and this is the way her passion is dancing. And so I would like to ask you that I found the book to be like a total rom-com, okay, very exciting and full of emotions and multiple characters basically. you know. So according to you, is there a formula for romance writing? Like if you want to write a romance, I want to write a romance, is there a formula for it?
Uh, there's no formula that I follow. I have read a lot of romance over the years, and I've watched a lot of romance movies and shows. Based on my understanding of how the story flows in those books and shows and movies, I have come to, have an understanding of how it should go. It should have a proper beginning. It should have a middle section where we are looking at the conflicts, and then a conclusion where we have maybe a proper conclusion or something which I rely upon, which is like a cliffhanger ending, not, you know, a conventional happy ending that we are used to. That's the kind of ending that I like as a reader and a viewer. That's how I inculcate that into my stories also. So a beginning, a proper beginning where we are either introduced to the hero or heroine, focusing on just one character, which you are going to, of course, there are going to be two leads, the hero and the heroine. But what I have come to understand is that in the prologue or in the first chapter, just focus on one character that you want to show the proper growth arc in the entire story. So in this story, we have Gayatri in focus. Of course, Varun is also there. He is the lead male hero of the story. But for me, it was always Gayatri's story. So I focused on introducing her in the prologue and, getting the audience to fall for her. कि ये ऐसी है. And the audience is excited to know more about her. कि how her story is progressing. What is she doing in her life ahead? So that was the basic thing. That's one thing that I do. Focus on just one character, introduce both the characters, just but focus only on
Okay.
one, and then we have the conflict during the middle section where again focus on one character who is the major conflict. इसमें वरुण है जिसमें major conflict create करता है. So yeah, even while
Okay.
you are doing the conflict, focus on just one character. दोनों characters को conflict में दिखाओगे तो readers will become confused and they won't know who to root for.
So in your story, Gayatri is the one who is taking the story ahead,
Yeah.
right? And then we are through her we see everyone and the things that are happening around her or things
Yeah.
that with the other characters.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
fully tackled, I would say, and there was not one single moment where I felt that I should put it down and I don't want to read it.
That means a lot.
Was an amazing one sitting read, and I was just like bowled completely by it. You have interwoven beautiful songs, uh, Bollywood songs in every situation. I mean, what kind of research did you do for this? How did you find a perfect song for every situation? How? I was really amazed. So tell us about it, please.
Uh, one particular song related research that I had to really, dig deep into was the songs related to the word dil. Uh, I come from the 90s era. I'm a 90s kid. So looking for songs, looking for songs that were before that and after that was a little challenging for me. So I actually literally had a list full of songs where, from the 70s to the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, I had jotted down and prepared an Excel sheet where all the Dil songs were listed. And then I was looking at the situations and matching them with the situations, whether they are going in or not. This was one particular song situation which for which I
Was
did research proper.
creative process also. I mean, matching the song is also creative, right? It was
Yes.
a creative.
Yes, and also, of course, you had to make sure it's not becoming too much. In fact, at one point, I remember asking one of my beta readers कि 46 songs हो गए हैं, कुछ ज़्यादा हो रहा है क्या? They were also like, but you have created a story where Bollywood is in focus. This was bound to happen.
I mean, the reference that you have drawn from Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge to Gayatri's character, and it's really beautiful. It's
Thank you.
like a movie going on in a movie.
Yeah. So for I only remember struggling for this particular song situation. The other songs were quite natural for me because I am also a person who uses song references and movie references in real life a lot.
Oh,
Like yeah, my friend circle knows that I have this habit of saying a dialogue and then suddenly asking, "Batao kaun si movie ka dialogue hai?" So that was easier for me, and I'm a music lover and a Bollywood buff. So merging that into Gayatri's character and the setting of the story became easier. Having said that, I do have to put out a disclaimer that I am not as dramatic as Gayatri, because a lot of the readers are coming back and asking me, is Gayatri, inspired by you? Or are you also somebody who's like Gayatri?
yeah. What you inspired Gayatri's character? I mean, she's completely different, on a different tangent.
Yeah.
So how do you create her? Like, was it the fluff of your imagination, or what?
Most of it is a fluff of my imagination, and also because in the Love and Melodrama is a spin-off from the first book in the series, Love Triangle, where Gayatri was one of the supporting characters, and Aisha Banerjee, who plays BFF in this one, she was the main character. And when I got the response for that book, and a lot of reviewers and readers were coming back and asking me questions related to Gayatri, and they wanted to know more about her. So that was actually that's sow the seed in my mind that Gayatri is somebody who can be turned into a bigger character than she is in this book. And yeah, and
I think
then
the right was the right. And this one more thing I would like to ask you. In fact, I was reading it, and suddenly at the end, I was like shocked. Like, I didn't expect it to end that way. Without giving away the ending, can you just tell me what was it? I mean, why did you do it? Did did you plan it from before, or did it just happen as the story progressed? Like, what was it?
so uh, mm, I have written two novels so far, and in both the novels, I have always been clear about the ending from the very beginning. From then on, it was just a means to an end. I was just trying to justify how this end came about. So no, it the ending was not something that developed while writing the story. It was always there. Having said that, why I did it was because I wanted to show uh, Gayatri's character growth, and also wanted to highlight on the fact that Gayatri is somebody who has grown up thinking that she has to have somebody over her, looking over her, protecting her, or guiding her, telling her this is the right thing or the wrong thing. And that somebody has always been a man. Previously, it was her father, and then it became Varun. So, that ending, I wanted to show Gayatri in a way where she has come on her own and she doesn't need, of course, having somebody by her side always helped her, but it was not necessary that somebody should always have been there with her as she progresses in her life.
Okay, so I think that justifies the.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. You. Yeah.
I am I am apologizing to all the readers. Lately, in the past month, I have only been saying sorry because I'm getting messages full of hate comments, and what is this?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we come to my favorite part of the session, which is the rapid fire round. And how we'll go is I'll ask you one question, you can ask me one. Would you
Okay.
like to go? Would you like to go first?
Yeah. My questions are like, okay. So I'll start. So hot chocolate or iced coffee?
Always hot chocolate. Matlab, yeah, yeah. In every holiday photo, at least 2 to 3 photographs are such where you can see a cup of hot chocolate next to me. So that is always there.
Okay.
My first question to you is because you dabble in both the genres. I want to know rom-com or thriller and why.
Thriller, because I like to write something which gives me an adrenaline rush, and thrillers is my choice. First choice.
Okay, interesting. I kind of knew that, but I was hoping, chalo, shayad rom-com bhi ho. Your turn.
Okay, so poems or novels? What you enjoy writing the most?
Poems, because that's much easier for me as a writer, and it comes very naturally to me. I don't have to put in that much effort, and also because it done gets done quicker for me.
Poem in Love and Meltdown also, and I liked it. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, my next question to you is the last thriller that you have read or watched, and would you recommend it to us?
I have the last thriller that I read was Kiego Higashino's A Death in Tokyo,
Okay,
and I would highly recommend if you all are Kiego's fans, because he has a very different kind of form when it comes to thrillers and mystery. And I feel that you know when I read his books, it's like it shouldn't end.
okay.
It's it builds up your intrigue as you read it, and his form
I'm
is
just
completely
add that
different.
right away to my TBR.
And Devotion, Suspect X.
Devotion of Suspect X. I am googling it and adding them to my TBR right
You
away.
should read his books. You should. If you are a crime buff and if you love,
Yeah.
he's a criminal writer, I mean, crime writer, master crime
Oh,
writer.
Devotion of Suspect X is also a
Yeah,
movie.
he also.
How is the movie?
I haven't watched the movie. I read the book and I was totally floored. You know.
Okay. So, A Death in Tokyo and Devotion of Suspect X. These are the everyone listening to us. These are the recommendations from Supriya in crime thriller.
He's
Okay, your question.
Men in Suit or Casuals?
Men in suit or
Casuals.
casual suits? Definitely. I mean, that's just something very debonair about men dressed formally.
Formally.
Very attractive. Yeah.
Director is also dressed formally, so I was.
And also, I think I started loving men in suits after watching Suits, the show. Yeah, I mean the suits that they wore in that show. Oh my God.
Amazing. I love men in uniform also,
Sorry.
Navy, Army uniforms.
Uh, yeah, men in uniform. Yes. Okay, my next question to you is because this book of yours, it focuses a lot on folklore. So, as a reader and a writer, would you choose folklore or mythology? Why?
So for this book, I chose folklore, but I would also like to go for mythology, because we can draw a lot of inferences from the stories that have already happened, and that would I'm planning to come up with an interesting story based on mythology. So
Wow,
for now,
that's exciting.
yeah. So for now, it's for me.
Any particular mythological anecdote or mythological read that you have enjoyed and would recommend?
No, I haven't read mythology right now. I mean, presently, I'm busy working on something else. But I wouldn't want to read anything before I start my work, because then,
Okay,
so I would like to just start afresh, because it's something that I'm doing it for the first time. You know,
okay. Can
when
we
you
know what mythology you are focusing on?
uh, it's about Lord Krishna. I'm taking a page
Oh,
of Lord Krishna's
interesting.
life, writing a story on that.
Wonderful. I'm really excited about this. All the best, and I'll be looking forward to it.
Thank.
Your question.
Okay, so beer or whiskey?
Oh my God, I have tried beer, and I know people say that it's an acquired taste, but I have not acquired it yet. So
So
if out of the two, yeah,
Oh.
like, the lesser devil. Yeah, my next question to you is, if you were given one day to finish off all your tasks, uh, what would be the first task that you do, and what would be the last? Why?
First task that I will do is maybe I will finish my incomplete manuscript. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the last task I would do is I'll send it off to my agent.
I thought you would say something like, I'll write a cryptic note and disappear like a true thriller author creating a suspense.
I can't because there are a lot of ideas.
Okay,
Just
your turn.
for even for a minute. But I have
Okay, your turn.
thought about it, what if I just disappear one day?
Yeah.
What will this?
That thought comes to me also, like leave a cryptic note and have fun while people struggle. Okay, your turn.
Mountains or beaches?
Mountain. But it also depends on the season. Yeah.
So beach.
Like in the summers I would prefer the mountains. Winters may actually both in summer beach and mountains are ideal. Depends on my mood.
Of course, beaches are like something very tranquil, and you watch the sea and then you lose yourself in it. That's the mood for.
Both the things have their own attraction.
Yeah.
Okay. Your last question for me.
Okay.
No, my last question to you. Sorry. As a reader yourself, what do you look for in a book?
So as a reader, I look for emotions. I look for really good characters, strong characters, and a very strong plot,
Hmm.
and a story that will be that will keep me on the edge of my seat. Like what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Right.
Hmm. Right. Definitely.
So that is
I
what,
can
yeah,
relate to that.
I think Down has all that masala in it.
Yeah. But there are readers also who do not, you know, they look at pace and structure a lot. For me, that doesn't matter as much as the character
Yes.
development.
Because it is your characters who take your story ahead. You know,
Yeah,
if
true.
you go strong characters, you end up with a very disinteresting plot line, and then everything falls down. So if like in your story, Gayatri, in my story, Bella, both the characters are strong.
Yeah,
So they took the story ahead, and that's how
true.
a beautiful setting was created and a beautiful book was created and came to life.
Are we through?
I
Are we done with?
guess yes.
I
So
didn't even realize. Yeah.
it was so talking to you,
Same.
and it's always. I mean, I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy this live session. Where you talk about my book, and I talk about your book, and I ask you questions, and you ask me questions, and it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like picking up another writer.
Yeah.
It's really.
Also, we learn from each other. Wow. There's so much to learn. I mean, each creator is different in the way they write. Uh,
It's like a master class.
yeah. आधे घंटे 45 minutes का master class. So thank you so much, Supriya, for joining me one more time. And I am really looking forward to the sequel of Into the Woods and also to the book that you are working upon, mythological book, mythological focus
Yeah.
wali. That also I'm really looking forward to. Thank you for joining me again. And this was really wonderful. Thank you. Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.